Welcome to episode 157 of Rebirth Revolution. My name is Melissa Olson. This is a big week. The midterm elections end next Tuesday, the 8th. This is going to be a big deal. I don't pay much attention to the polls since I suspect that no one under the age of 30 is reachable by pollsters. The world doesn't work the way it used to. No one answers the phone unless they already know who it is. Generally, people aren't likely to sign up to fill out questionnaires and mail them in. I don't think that polls know how much young people care about preserving their bodily autonomy, as was evidenced by the shocking outcome in Kansas. They thought it was close, and it was nowhere near close. There are many old white men on TV saying that abortion will not be a factor in this election. They think everyone is over that and on to the price of gas. But this is way too big an issue for people to immediately adapt to a vision of their future where they have no say in their reproductive rights. There has also been talk by those on the right who think that making birth control illegal is a good way to go. It's hard to imagine what the end game is here in this whole forced birth scenario. To map out the life that you want to live, each woman must have the right to decide if and when she wants to have children. Having children is the biggest decision anyone will make in this life. And every woman who chooses to do so risks her health, her career, her relationships, and her very life. It doesn't get any bigger. Ideally, every child who comes to the planet does so as a wanted child. It comes as a child who can be housed and fed, loved and adored, and supported in all the ways until it reaches adulthood. Our very sense of self is created through our perception of how those around us are receiving us. If you are born to a parent who is unwilling or incapable of making the life for you that they should, you feel that. You form your sense of self around the fact that you are not wanted. That will color everything for the rest of your life. The reverse is also true. If you come here wanted and adored, you will always feel that internal sense of value. When adults have the ability to plan when they have children, they do the advance work of creating that loving home that the child will enter. One of the greatest forms of privilege that you can bestow on your child is to raise them in a peaceful, loving home. If they don't have to unravel years of abuse, neglect, and a sense of being unwanted from their childhood, they are well ahead of the crowd. Those who backed this forced birth agenda do not offer anything to those who would have their lives turned around in this way. They do not want there to be any assistance for those who cannot afford to bring a child into the world. There will be no help for them. The whole picture becomes even darker when you realize that they have set their sights on eliminating Social Security and Medicare. I assume this means that you will need to go pick up your elders who are in assisted living and skilled nursing and bring them home to care for them yourself. The whole vision of a world in which we refuse to care for one another is dark indeed. I don't think people realize how awful things could actually get. But right now, we have the power to vote about what we want the vision to look like. We get to support the candidates who have a greater understanding of just how difficult life is for most people. We get to vote for those who are not invested in policies that are based in cruelty and abandonment. That is the power we have. if we ignore the power that we do have, we will be stripped of power altogether. This democracy is not guaranteed to last. It only lasts as long as we are involved and speak up for what we want. There is great power in taking the time to envision the world that you want to see. Your visions are not limited to your own life and what goes on there. Your visions can reach out to your town, your state, your country, and the entire planet. What is it that you would like to see? What are your ideals? I would like a world in which we are all given the same opportunities to express all of our gifts. And I'd like to see just what this world would look like if that were to unfold. There is so much magnificence out there that goes to waste because we grapple with these old human issues of thinking in limiting ways. Like thinking that there is only enough for certain people to live the dream. Therefore, we need to keep all the good stuff away from everyone else. Without the diseases of greed and hoarding, there is enough for everyone. I'd like to see us all take better care of the planet and have us take all the ingenuity that we have applied to computers and phones and unleash that on alternative forms of energy. I think we have so much untapped brilliance in this world that is being held back by those who profit from nothing changing. I'd like to see people abandon the belief that everyone who is not exactly like them does not have the right to exist. Those differences are our strength and what keeps us interesting. I correlate this with brain health. The worst thing you can do for brain health is to do a limited number of things and do them the same way each and every time. It's like you wear a short, deep groove in your brain that lives on repeat. It leaves a lot of the brain untouched. But to do many different things many different ways creates all sort of new neural pathways in your brain. You just keep branching out, activating, and pulling into play more and more of your brain. I see it that way with people who are different. They help us create new neural pathways because they do things differently, they think differently, and they offer insights that we could not reach through our own lived experiences. They bring more of our thinking and perceptions into play. That's a good thing once you get over the fear of being a bigger, better self. Once you get excited about having your perceptions challenged, you will constantly be lit up by the world around you, which is so much better than painting yourself into a small, predictable, and ordinary corner. We are here to live out our lives to the fullest. That means we need to live our entire lives in a state of being stretched and grown. The input we need to facilitate this comes from other people who are living out different experiences. We need to witness people who are not like us so that we can grow. They are an essential part of our process. I lose nothing at all from people being gay, transgender, religious or not religious in any of the ways one can be, or because people are of a different ethnic background than my ancestors. I can only gain from that. They take nothing from me by existing or living the lives they were meant to live. The only exception to that is when someone decides that we must all live our lives exactly as they do, which is what the evangelical Christians are hoping to make law. I have no problem with them believing what they do. I just don't think that their particular religious beliefs are of greater importance than anyone else's religion or absence of religion. We can all live here and do it the way we think we should. We just can't impose those beliefs on others in an effort to feel like we are more right. But that is always a human trap, the one where we think we are more right if we make other people wrong. I think my overly optimistic live and let live point of view has a secondary benefit. When we are overly focused on what others are doing, we are missing out on the lessons we are to learn from what we are doing. Our focus outside of ourselves is just delaying the work that we need to be doing. If it makes you uncomfortable that someone else is not like you, the work to be done is an internal job. Sure, it seems like life would be easier if the reaction to being uncomfortable could be to just eliminate all the people who make you feel that way. That's not what we're here to do. And if we don't yet get that, by looking back in history, we may never get it. But let's try. I suspect that there are more people who have an optimistic vision of our shared future than those who want to stay stuck or go backwards. But the one thing we will need to see it through is to vote. And we need to keep voting and keep insisting that we have the right to vote, because there are those who think that they know better how our future should be. They don't want us to vote now or ever again. They want to impose their will on us. They want to create a future that does not align in any way with our highest ideals. Disengage from the negativity and spend more of your time focusing on the world you want to see. You are so powerful right now. You get to have your say. Don't ever squander your power. Thanks for returning for another week of Rebirth Revolution. We can be found on all the podcast apps, the music apps, and full episodes play on our YouTube and Facebook pages. You can find all episodes on rebirthrevolution.com. Please download, rate, and review whenever you can. Until next week, be still. Listen to your own internal voice and vote for those who most closely align with your vision. Remember, you are loved exactly as much as every other person on the planet, not 1 ounce more or 1 ounce less. Stay strong and safe and lit up.